This is Sid and Friends in the morning.
77 WABC.
No, it's funny. I've been comparing Trump to Ric Flair. Woo! Nature Boy. The great wrestler Ric Flair. As Trump gets in the middle of that ring, of course, and before he beats up his opponent, who hopefully that'll be Harris this time around, he grabs a mic and entertains the crowd. And that's what people just don't understand. He doesn't get bogged down. He doesn't spend 10 minutes saying bad things about the opponent. He kind of peppers it in. It's fine. So I compared him to Ric Flair. Do you know now that there are wrestlers that are like involved in all this political back and forth? I was in Milwaukee. I was there on the floor, a couple of feet away from the stage where Donald Trump spoke that Thursday night when Hulk Hogan took the stage, and they went nuts. I mean, all these congressmen from New York, they were big-time guys, Mike Lawler, Anthony D'Esposito, they were like children when Hogan took the stage. And Hogan made a great speech, loves Trump. Well, it turns out now that Jesse the Body, who became Jesse the Mind when he beat my cousin Norm Coleman to win the gubernatorial in the great state of Minnesota, Jesse Ventura, he was backing RFK Jr., but that's a waste of time. So now he's backing Harris. So now we may have a wrestling grudge match between Trump supporter Hulk Hogan and Harris supporter Jesse Ventura. You like those? You like that, Lou? The wrestling thing? I don't know if you're a fan of that.
I'm not a wrestling person. I've been trying to follow your analogy.
Yeah, no, because it's idiotic. That's why it's stupid. I mean, I used to watch it. I was, Saturday morning all coked up and drunk after a night in the city, and I watched Bob Backlund walk up and down the stairs for 15 minutes, and the Wild Samoans, and I don't know, it was just stupid. I watched it for a couple of years, and then somebody told me it's rigged. And, I just stopped watching it.
Bruno Sammartino.
I watched him and Ivan Putski and the Iron Sheik and George the Animal Steel, Andre the Giant. That was,
that's it.
That was my generation,
that's
yeah.
It.
I mean, I moved forward to the Stone Cold. I'm not even talking about it. I know way too much. Joseph Tacopina is one of the greatest. Actually, he's the greatest. The best defense attorney anywhere in the world. In fact, Trump hired him twice. He's also my dear, dear friend from our Poly Prep days, 47 years. And here he is, his weekly Friday appearance, Joseph Tacopina. Jojo, good morning, pal. How are you?
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Good. Are you a big wrestling guy growing up?
I mean, a little bit. Bruno Sammartino, I guess, Andre the Giant, right? A little bit. Only because there was not a lot on. There were like 4 channels when we were.
That was it.
Up, right?
I used to watch the New Zoo Review in the morning. I used to like that show.
But I heard you just say, when you were an adult, you figured out it wasn't real. I mean, I think that was pretty obvious pretty early on in life, no? I mean, that was. Let
me explain something to you, Joseph. I figured out a lot of things later on in life.
Yeah. There's no Santa Claus, right?
There's not?
No.
I don't think I was an adult, and I had these arguments before. We talk about school shooters and kids getting into trouble and these animals that are all over our campuses, and people would yell at me. They go, because I would say they're kids. They go, Sid, they're 20 years old. They're not a kid. How stupid could it be? I don't care if you're 30. Until you have to pay your own bills, until you assume your own responsibilities, you're a kid. You're a child. My daughter, for example, she doesn't pay for anything. She's a brilliant kid. She can go out there and do whatever she wants. She's a child. Age has nothing to do with it. And I really believe I was a child till I was about 40. But people will argue, no. These campus kids, no. If their parents are paying for them, I don't care how old they are, they're children. You agree with that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Look, that's what we remember that case not too long ago in Michigan with the school shooter and the parents were convicted. Well, they were convicted because they were the parents of this kid, and it wasn't like they were parents and the kid was a great kid and behind their backs he was a psychopathic killer. He was someone who had all the telltale signs. Look, he was living under their roof. They were allowing him to do things. They were facilitating his illness. And when you're a parent of a child, especially a disturbed child, and they have problems, you are responsible. for that individual. Okay, as long as they're under your ward, as long as they're living in your house.
That's right.
So I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
Age has nothing to do with it. Yeah,
I agree.
No, thank you. Well, when you agree with me, I like that because you're really smart. So the big story today, I guess, in your field in the law is that a very, very popular actor, we all loved him, Matthew Perry, one of the Friends stars. He died last year, and we never really knew why, And then the autopsy came out, and now this was shocking that now he's dead, and we saw something about ketamine in the autopsy, and they've arrested 5 people, including someone I've never heard of, the ketamine queen. What is that all about?
Yeah, no, this is an airtight case. Apparently, his two doctors. I mean, you think they would have learned from the Michael Jackson case, okay? But 2 doctors were indicted. This woman called the ketamine queen apparently had a stash house where she provided ketamine to all the celebrities and others in Los Angeles. His personal assistant, they were all indicted. They were indicted and charged. And by the way, everyone has pled guilty except for the ketamine queen and another individual who is another doctor, one of the 2 doctors that hasn't pled guilty. But one doctor pled guilty, the personal assistant pled guilty, another one of the drug distributors pled guilty. So it's an airtight case. Look, these idiots were texting each other about how much this quote unquote this moron is willing to pay for the ketamine. I mean, they were a $6 vial of ketamine they were charging him $2,000 for, but they put it in writing in text. I mean, so it's and this was a doctor, by the way. So I mean, it's a sad thing. It really is, but it just goes to show you how out of control Los Angeles is, the Hollywood scene is when it comes to this stuff. They facilitate. They play on these. Look, so many people out there are screwed up. So you know that.
No, I know.
I spent time out there. Just got back from Rocky's case, and it's a weird place. It really is.
ASAP Rocky, of course, who's with Rihanna. Yeah. No, I know. Look. I know that Perry came out when they had the Friends reunion. He looked awful. He sounded awful. It was very, very tough to watch. And, like this Dr. Drew, for example, people love him. He's fine. I've met him. I've been on his show. It's fine. But this guy had that the drug show on, and he took a guy like Jeff Conaway. Now, I like to remember Jeff Conaway as the guy who played Kaniki in Grease. I like to remember Jeff Conaway as the guy who was in the show Taxi. Here, he had Jeff Conaway all drugged out in a wheelchair. He died, Jeff Conaway. He OD'd and died.
Right.
But the way he exploited Conaway for his Los Angeles stupid TV show was nauseating. And I kind of feel like a lot of folks did the same thing with Perry over the years once his problems became public after Friends.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, his personal assistant for 30 years. I mean, for God's sakes, they gave him 3 times the normal amount of ketamine. Look, ketamine is used to help with depression, I guess. It's everything is, every disease now has drugs that sort of, I guess, overcome, right? And it's, people are addicted to everything in this country. And that's a big problem. But this guy had 3 times the normal amount of ketamine in his bloodstream when he was killed.
That'll kill you.
Ketamine is something that'll kill a horse. It's horrible. And they took cash from this guy. And again, these were all, and they did it not discreetly. There were text messages showing the receipts of the sales, talking about how much this quote unquote moron would pay. And that's, it's really horrible stuff. And this is from a doctor who, by the way, is not yet pled guilty. And if I were that doctor or his lawyer, I would figure out a way to plead guilty because, everyone else has pled guilty except one of the distributors, this queen, this ketamine queen, whatever her name is.
She's going down. She's going down.
But here's the thing. There's 3 people who pled guilty already and are cooperating. So,
right.
It's game set.
Well, talking about cooperating, Curtis Lee was on with me every day. He's terrific. He's great. And he's going to run for mayor again, and he doesn't get along with Eric Adams. That's putting it pleasantly. He hates him. Okay? He hates his guts. So Adams, the FBI finally came for him. Right? They came for all the folks around him, his campaign people. Now, yesterday, the FBI came for him. And, the consensus is that Eric Adams will do what they ask. He'll cooperate. He'll participate, blah, blah, blah. And in the end, he's not going to serve any jail time. He's not going to prison for this. It may not help him in his reelection bid. In fact, I think he has no chance of winning, based upon what I've seen. I think you agree with me. But from a legal standpoint, the FBI coming for Adams yesterday, what does that mean to the best defense attorney in the world?
Well, first of all, this wasn't even yesterday. This apparently happened several months ago. But don't forget, first thing that happened was about 9 months ago, the federal government, the FBI agents stopped the mayor on the street and seized his cell phone. That is not indicative of someone they don't think has anything to do with any wrongdoing. That's indicative of someone they think will destroy evidence. So when you stop someone, especially the mayor of New York City, tell his personal security to stand down and move away, and you seize his cell phone, that's a bad sign. Okay, that's how this all started, right? Yeah. So it wasn't like, Mayor, can you please send in your cell phone when you get a chance? Yeah. They were afraid that, obviously, what that indicates is they were afraid he was going to destroy that evidence.
Yeah.
Then you have subpoenas going out, not just for records in the office, but personal subpoenas for him. And that's where the problem starts.
He's actually at the White House one day, and he was about to meet with all these black mayors. Why black mayors, I don't know, but he clearly likes black people more than white people. And he was about to meet with all these black mayors, and he had to turn the plane around because the FBI was banging on somebody else's door. All this the last couple of months.
Now, Brianna Suggs, his chief fundraiser, they raided her house. It wasn't just banging on doors. I mean, this is the chief person who raised his funds for his campaign, and they raided her house. So it wasn't banging on doors, and he did turn around. I mean, look, to me, this is they're looking to see obviously if there was any quid pro quo. Did he receive upgrades for his flights to Turkey? Did he receive benefits? Because that's what they're looking at. Look, anything, when you become an elected official, you just have to remember this. You can't take a damn apple.
What do you mean I have to? What do you mean I have to remember this? Did somebody tell you I'm running for office? Because people are begging me to do that. You know that. Begging me.
Well, you'll be appointed press secretary when Trump wins. So you have to run for office.
Well, if Trump was smart, listen, if Trump was smart, he would beg me to take that job.
And that would be the greatest entertainment.
Right? If I was the White House press secretary, could you see me with some, you asshole, you douchebag, you don't got a better question than that? Go home to your mother. Send somebody else here, CNN, you mother effers.
Whether it lasts 4 years or 4 days, it would be the greatest period of American history ever if you became the press secretary.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. Oh, you'll keep me on speed dial, of course.
Oh, no, I know. Yeah. There'll be a lot of retainers coming your way. But you're right. No, but they clearly want this guy. And he's got some shady deals with these other countries, kind of money all over the place. Turkey, of all countries, by the way, Erdogan in Turkey hates Israel. And Adams, at least portrays himself as a guy that loves the Jews. I don't know how those two make sense. But you're right. They've got something, right? Something.
They have to. I mean, they wouldn't be going this hard at a mayor of New York City. Now, look, his lawyers have said, look, they've looked at the evidence. They've identified evidence undermining reported theories of federal prosecutors. They've shared that with the U.S. Attorney's Office. Great. Let's see who's right at the end of the day. But generally speaking, as a former prosecutor, I will tell you, generally you don't go this far down a road against a high-profile sitting elected official unless there's something there.
Oh, boy.
And, look, I hope for the sake of New York, I hope for the sake of Eric that that's not the case, but
what do you mean the sake of New York? What do you mean the sake of New York? I mean, at this point.
It's not a good thing for the mayor of New York City. It's not a good thing for the city of New York to have its mayor indicted by the feds. It's just not a good thing. We don't need that scandal. And I spoke to Reverend Sharpton about this. And, I think even Reverend Sharp's a little concerned. And, so there's something there. Man, I guess when the smoke, there's fire.
Did he call you yet? Did Adams call you?
No, not spoke there. I think he's probably heard me on your radio show now. So our monthly lunch.
Wait a second. It shouldn't matter. I mean, you do realize that I voted against Trump in 2016 and he loves me now. You do realize his vice president, J.D. Vance, compared him to Hitler and as his vice president. My point is, you mature, you move on, and if you want to win a case, you hire Joe Tacopina.
Well, if there's a case and Eric wants to hire me, as long as he, look, the presumption of innocence commences upon payment of retainer. As long as he can do that, we're good. We're good to go.
What if the check comes for your retainer directly from Turkey?
Yeah, that's not happening. I'd like to, the one thing I said, look, the good thing about me is I'm a hard charger and I go pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
But I've managed to stay out of harm's way. I've been 4 years of practice. Yeah. I don't have any dings on my record.
Nothing.
I don't have disciplinary complaints, and
nothing.
I intend on keeping it that way.
Yeah, you're the best. You're the best attorney. You're a great person. There's reason why I love you all these years, 47 years. I look up to you. You're terrific. And a great job here this Friday morning, Joseph. Have yourself a great weekend. We will do it again. again next week, my friend. Thank you so much.
Okay, brother. Thanks.
You're the best. Joseph Tacopina right there, famed defense attorney.